Warning, Archer's Garage Live is not suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Oh, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what the hell he's saying. What are you guys up to? Let me show you. Let me cue up. Let's see what me and Big Mike are up to. Hold on, I got to cue it up. Because I'm not ready. I'm never ready. Like, I don't, I'm never really ready for stuff. Let me see. I got to open up the software. Hold on, I got to put my headset on. Bring it over to desktop audio. There it is. It's coming up. Hold on. I'll find it. If I can get to it. There we go. Let's see. I got to move you here. And I got to move this there. There's a couple of cool things I don't want to show you guys, but this is a bunch of knuckleheads. Let's see. Is this it? Where is it? I got to find it. No, here. It's here somewhere. It was yesterday. Yeah, here it is. It's with me and Mike. Let me turn this on. It should work. Let's see. I got to go to Wright monitor. There we go. Let's see. Bring it up.
You ready? Go ahead. Okay. You go.
You go.
And I'll go next.
Mike, Big Mike. Mike's going to miss it.
Powering up.
We were fixing this thing up. Uh-oh.
I just hope it doesn't blow up.
Yeah.
Are we on now?
Nope.
Oh, he has to put it in the gear.
Yeah. Yeah, it did that before, too, to me. I was fooling around with it.
Let's see.
There it goes.
It's got like soft start.
Oh, he was on two wheels.
That's nice. Yeah, it goes good. Even over this ground. Well, the ground is hard, kind of.
Look at that little backwards action.
Yeah, a little backwards action.
That's Tina. Tina's asked me, how's the
Nice.
doggy?
Sweetness.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, we'll have to drag race. We need another one. Yeah, let me try. Yeah, you grab the camera.
Good.
I guess just hold it.
Doggy's
steady.
still sleeping.
So what do? Is I get on it,
You get on it.
turn the key,
Get down on it.
right?
Key on.
Why is it
Pull.
two?
Because you have one for reverse and one for backwards.
Oh.
Forward. Yeah.
Oh, this is much.
There you go. Look at that.
The power chair.
Look at that. You got to put a lift on the front of that now.
I know.
This thing goes good.
It goes right through the snow and everything.
Wow. Wow, this is cooking.
It sounds a little bangy, though.
Not as fast as it goes.
I would say. It might get a little better on flat ground.
Yeah, and then.
It's got wheelie bars,
And it's
too.
got a dial in the center if you want it to go slower.
And then back it up. It's got this dial, rabbit run.
Look at that. Uncle Arch is preparing for another 20 years from now.
I know. Jeez, don't say that.
TJ likes the green hoodie.
Like that. Okay, can we get it in? We'll go
Let's go.
up.
Let's go. Let's see if it'll go in.
There's the right. We'll take a look at that. Whoops.
Stuck.
Almost.
Hold on.
Oh. Yeah, like a two-stroke, Robert.
He doesn't get out much.
No, I don't get out much anymore. I'm done with that.
All right.
Yeah, we could use it in the shop.
Yeah, let's see if we can put it back up on here.
All right, I'm coming back. Hold
Oh,
on.
that is so fun.
Yeah, that is fun. That was fun. I'm working on it. Hold on. I'm coming back. We'll transition back to that. Just shut the right monitor off for now and see what you guys are doing. TJ likes the green hoodie. Yeah, TJ. Thanks, TJ. TJ helped me out with the green hoodie. I love the green hoodie. And what I like about it is we got this one in a little bit bigger size for me. So I can wear it over stuff, right? Because it's cold. You guys might hear a lot of noise in the shop today or tonight because, well, the heat's on. I think I'm throwing up my own mouth. Hey, there's John. Hey, John Corey. He goes, it was 32 degrees here in PA today. Yeah, well, it's Long Island. He goes, definitely buy. He's going to put a two-stroke. No, it's actually for his dad. I'm fixing it up a little bit. I'll put it on my channel, but that again, that's the stuff really for, as you guys coined the phrase, Archer's Garage Tech, AGT. So that's really what, I'm going to kind of go over dealing with the batteries. He fixed it, but he got sloppy and he burned out some stuff. So I wanted to check it over and make sure it was okay. But he fixed it. He figured it out. And there was some things that he didn't know about electricity and meters, and that he burned out the other charger. He got that thing really cheap. So, but what made it more expensive was, and that's what I want to talk about, like on AGT, and you'll see it. I'll put it on this channel at some point. He wasn't careful with the ohm meter, with the VOM, and you guys were showing off some VOMs or talking about that. I didn't get to check out all of the show, Ken's show today, because I was busy. And but because he was a little sloppy with it, he fried the power pack, the charging pack. But he found what was wrong inside the battery pack, and so he bought a nice new, charging pack for it. Really nice one too. Let me get it. I'll show you what it looks like. It's really just for these machines, but it is really nice. Hold on. I'm coming. It's still cold in here. Well, I didn't really have the heat on much today because contractor Mike was here and I was outside, and then Mr. Doggy had an expensive visit from the vet today, because he's been having problems, and he had an ingrown nail. Like, you have to muzzle this dog. Like, he will bite you if you touch certain areas. He's not walking good. The hind leg thing, right? All that kind of happens. And so he can't cut his nails. Like, he just won't let you do it. And we have we're weak, right? The family here is weak. So we had a vet come in, draw blood, check him out, check his heart. We'll know about his blood in a couple of days, but we want to make sure that the meds that we give him are going to be okay for his liver and everything. But he seems okay. So his nail had grown in, and when dogs get older, you guys might know, and I don't know, maybe cats too, but they have these growths in their ears and sometimes on their nose. They're benign usually. But he just sort of developed one from the nail growing into his paw. So it's really been bothering him, and we were like, all right, we can't bring him there. We can't get him in the car. He's having problems getting up and down the steps. It takes like anywhere between 10 minutes and an hour to get this dog out or really back in the house. Like, he won't cooperate. So we love him to death, but you know how it goes. So that's been extra burden, but we want to make sure he was okay. We'll give him some more meds, have his toenails cut, have that ingrown one removed, and so that's what I was doing for some of the day. But isn't this nice, though? I like it when, like, the other one was plasticky. This is a nice metal case. I think he said this is only about $120. But it's basically a 24-volt charger, but it happens to be for more or less for these machines. Unlike the one that that I put up on my channel, the yellow one, and I was talking about that one. And by the way, a number of people wrote back to me, and they said, hey, Arch, I bought one of those. One guy, he's actually, he has a shop. And he goes, it doesn't seem like much. And it was really inexpensive. He's like, but I was really surprised. It did everything you said. He's like, it's now indispensable around the shop. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was impressed with that little yellow charger. This one here. Just in case you guys don't know. Oh, can't you be ready? No, I'm not ready. Where is it? Let me gotta find it. I got two of them. Where's the other one? Hold on. Yeah. I'm coming. Oh, it's the only person I know that disappears. Well, that's probably not true. Hold on, I gotta get comfortable again. It's getting late. I gotta put my apron back on again, right? My blankie. So Mr. Doggy, we gave him all these meds and stuff to knock him out. It didn't knock him out. Now it knocked him out. Now he's been, for the past couple hours, he's been out cold in the same spot, laying in the way, in the traffic region where you have very little room to walk. You come into the back door, you walk to the kitchen, and then you have to walk past 3 Mile Island to get to the dining room and then to the living room. So he's right there in the smallest of corridors. But it doesn't have an on-off switch. but it's got a nice fan in the back, and this is when I was showing you guys. So it has the settings that you can choose whatever voltage or whatever, like AGM or regular battery or the lithium ion, and it will auto detect. But what I liked about this one is, and you can choose between 12 volt and 24. It just needs like an actual power switch. But it's metal cased with the fan. It's quiet. And it was like $40. And the guy was like, yeah, you're right, Arch. This thing actually does work good. I was like, the question, and I bought a nice meter, which I don't think I really did like a full expose on the meter yet. I'll get to that. And also the load tester, right? And my thing is like, can we get, there goes the furnace. Can we get decent cheap stuff today? Like cheap electronics, whatever. Are we at that point? Same kind of point we were at many years ago with the Japanese stuff. Remember when the Japanese stuff came out? It was crap. The tools were crap. Everything was crap. But they had started in the late 40s, like early 50s, like right after the war. And by the 70s and definitely 80s, we were getting some good stuff. And I think we're starting to get to that point. Would I prefer that we make this stuff? Yeah, you guys know my position on that. But, I've been yelling since I was a kid. Nobody listens, Let me come back. So John Curry says, it was 32. Yeah, it was a little bit warmer here today. We were out in the sun. I was outside a lot. Me and contractor Mike, we'll take a look at the Wright in a little bit. And we were out there. I was going over the machine with him. Now, there's no real videos. Only you guys on the live show have seen anything on the Wright. Remember, it was like a week or so ago, I showed you how bad those pulleys were on the drive system. And he's like, I should really start watching your show. I'm like, yeah, bro, why don't you watch the show? He doesn't watch the show. He just likes to do contracting. And he picked up something nice, too, as well. He dropped off. We'll get to that in a minute. But this is like another one of like the series that I'm doing on the Sunstar. There's way too much. The thing got basically restored, as you saw the sneak peek of it. And it needed a lot of work. So there's no way, there's no how-to. There's how-to in it. But this isn't like how to fix this or how to fix that. So they're not going to be like really popular videos or anything. But I want to put it out because it's small equipment related and it's contractor related. And I got to tell you, Wright Manufacturing, it's an older machine with a Cowie motor on it, twin cylinder. And it's a big motor. Those were made in the U.S. here at the time. It runs great, 75 PSI on each cylinder. I went over the valves. I put an aftermarket carburetor on it, which I had to drill out. I think you guys were talking about today. I got to go back. I might listen to Ken's show tomorrow. I only kind of waltzed in here around 3 o'clock or whatever when I was done with the dog and everything else and Mike. And I sat down for a little bit and then I wanted to go eat. And it's just they made a great machine, It's just a great machine. Is this popular? Is it going to be? No, because only like contractors doing, big work are going to need a machine like this. 36-inch. What a beautiful piece of equipment. Fun working on it. Had a good time. I gave him a pretty good discount on the price, there was a few things I threw, a lot of little things I kind of throw in for free because he takes care of me. I don't want to beat him up. It's also a slow time of year for him like it is for a lot of us. Money's tight. I mentioned today that I couldn't sell that snowblower, even for $200. There's no money. Long Island's probably like the second most expensive place to live, outside of maybe California, and nobody has any money. Nobody's interested. It didn't snow enough. Use a shovel, so they're not going to buy it, right? So it was warm in the sun. So yeah, John says, yeah, definitely 2-stroke on that thing. Let me back up. Robert says it was 60 degrees. No, it's going to be 60 degrees tomorrow. So Henry says hello. TJM says good evening. Drunken Jim says counting down hello to everybody. TJM says loves the green hoodie. Robert says put a gas-powered engine on it. No, what do you say, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia. He's going to drive down to Georgia. I think that's where his father is. He's going to give it to his father. So he bought it for his dad. So we just want to make sure it's okay, clean it up, check it over. He fixed it. I just double-checked it, and it's going to go down there. It's almost like it's smaller than this, Big Mike. Yeah, he goes, yup. Big Mike, did you see us driving it around? Yeah. He goes, he says, sup, fellas. And he says hello. Did you see us driving it around? I don't know if you just came in, but I showed us driving it around outside. That was fun. So I'm basically done with it, Mike. I just want to do a little footage on it tomorrow whenever the hell I get up. Oh, you didn't see that? Yeah, rewind the video. You'll see us driving around. Well, you were there. He just got in, he says. He just got in. So tomorrow I want to just shoot a few more. I did an overhead camera today, looking down at it, showing the wiring, and I put the 5 amp fuse back in it, Mike, and he shrunk it. And it's like a puzzle trying to get it all back together again. I also yelled out the battery specs and all that. So, because all that is like, it's all replaceable. They're gel cell batteries. This thing's in good shape. And that charger is sweet. So, lubed up a few things, cleaned it off, made it nice for him. And it all comes apart like real easy. And you just shove it in the trunk. It's kind of like the smaller version of, in my intro, the crazy mad intro with those two really big red people. I don't know if they're men or women. It looks like they have breasts. I'm not sure. I don't know. And they're riding the quad version of it, right, with the 4 wheels. This thing's good up to 300 pounds. It could be that the battery pack wasn't assembled right. He said he found a loose blade connector. It wasn't installed properly. It blew out a fuse. It wasn't charging. So we went over that and made sure it was good to go. And it's a nice little unit, you know. Up to 300 pounds. I mean, if somebody's over 300 pounds, it could have blown the fuse. But that looks like the charging fuse, though, that blew. That's what I think it is. So, let's see. Yeah, definitely 2-stroke on that thing. John says, oh, yeah, Dad doesn't need a gas-powered chair. Yeah, no, he doesn't need it. He wants to use it mostly inside, too. Let's see. Brett's here. Hey, Brett. Yeah, he's in pain. Yeah, it's hard to get around. And my doggy's in pain. So, we loaded him up. We loaded him up with some meds, some pain meds. We're going to refill the scripts, and the vet came with an assistant, and they were covered in dog hair when we were done. Well, actually, we were all covered in dog hair when we were done with him. White hair, white husky hair. We loaded him up with meds. Now he's finally passed out. You know, oh, there's Maida. He goes, John says, it looks like a decent charger. My mom had a chair like that with an aluminum charger like that. Yeah, that's a nice one. He goes, that's the one we had for my mom's chair. Oh, that's good to know, yeah, because it seems like a much better charger than the plastic one that came with it. I took it apart. I poked inside there. I couldn't really see if anything was burned, but something got fried. Let's see, Maida says, oh, crap. Arch found his makeup. Yeah, Spitfire. Hey, Spitfire, Mike. He says, I dig your analogy on everything. I hope you have another show with Ken and Jim. Yeah, we'll do that. Any info or experiences with Boland's 1250 tractors. Great show. Have more of them. Oh, the Bolands. Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience on the Bolands. Bolands, we only see a handful of Boland stuff, but definitely go to Ken's show and ask those fellas, too, and anybody in the audience about the Bolands 1250. Usually they're pretty good. Most of the Boland stuff on that branding is usually okay. I have worked on some Bolands, but we don't see a lot of it here. But I wanted to talk a little bit too, and a little bit about like sort of the death of small engines and where where this is coming from. I'll tell you in a minute. He goes, that chair is better than the ones we used at Walmart. Yeah, they definitely are. Yeah, it's a nice chair. It is. It's because I showed you underneath of it. It's built really strong. So I watched this fella. I mentioned this to Ken and you guys a while back. He's around our age, right? He's got a shop upstate New York. So upstate New York, for those of you that may know, is way more rural, right? There's a lot of farms up there, especially where he is. So he doesn't just do small equipment. He also does the tractors, the lawn tractors, and the bigger, lawn and garden, and the bigger tractors to some degree he does, to some degree. A lot of the much bigger stuff, he and I don't know who he really works with. Occasionally you see another fellow in there too, but they tend to go to the farm or whatever, or in the winter, whatever, they'll have it trailered. But as far as the smaller stuff now, he's got a shop, he's got inventory, he's been doing this a long time. And I don't know what his name is because now I had subscribed to him, and I've got like 1,000 people I've subscribed to, so I didn't have a chance. I just thought about this the other day when I was watching him, maybe a day or so ago. I forget. I was out here, working, and in between working and whatever, I like to watch YouTube. And he was talking about this, and he had a story to tell. But I have so many people on my list, I'm like, I don't remember the guy. I never remember anybody's name. I've got something wrong with me that way. I'm like, I got to go find him. And then I was like, you should really talk about this on one of your live shows. Because I've talked about this before, but instead of just me blabbering. But I'll kind of just tell you the brief story of what he was saying. Now, his show, he started a little while back, about a year or so ago. It's doing pretty good. And I think maybe next week, I'll find it this week, and I'll put it on a notepad or something. And I'll drop it in like this week's description, and then I'll mention it next week so you guys know. But I wrote to him, and I said, why don't you come on Ken's show? I told him who I was and who Ken is and some of the other fellas. I said, why don't you pop in or at least check him out on a Saturday? Now, usually most of us work Saturdays, right? A lot of us, especially in small engines. But he never even wrote back to me. So you know how you feel, right? You kind of feel like this when somebody does that. Like, oh, I read all. He says, I read all of the. Well, you didn't read mine. Or if you read it, or maybe he just doesn't like me. Or maybe he doesn't like Ken. Or I don't know, but he doesn't say anything. He talks a lot about how to make. It's not just how to fix stuff. When he gets up early and goes out to his shop, he likes to sit in his office chair and go on and on and on like either a live or just make a video on talking about small engine repair business and maybe how you can do it yourself. Except now, because there's a fellow that he knows that had built up a small equipment business, and very much like the one across the street, which also does rentals and big equipment rentals as well and repair. And the guy was hoping that it would become something that he could give to his son, right? And Ken had mentioned, oh, maybe it'd be something that my son. No, you don't want your son involved. The son never wanted to be involved, and for damn good reason, because the son looked at the books, and it's just been steadily going down and down and down. Now, he owned the property. I think he owned the building, and he was hoping that he could kind of pass it on and that would continue to earn some income and he could draw on some of that in his retirement because he's basically up like a lot of us on retirement. No, the son doesn't want any part of it. There's no future in it. The books show that it's been steadily losing money. Consumers in general, everything is going towards electric. And I've said this before, what are you going to do? Replace batteries? You're going to sharpen blades? There's no money in that. And he goes, and he was talking about the parts. And so many people here I know complain that, I don't want to do a carburetor. A lot of people will just buy carburetors from Amazon. Oh, but those suck. But you know what? The reality is, like he even said it. He goes, I used to try to rebuild the carburetors, the original equipment carburetors. He goes, I can't anymore. He goes, it costs me more for the rebuild kit and the time to pay a mechanic or for myself to take one of these things apart. He goes, I just buy them from Amazon everywhere else. He says, I have people. He goes, at one point, he said he did $1 million a year at one point in parts. Not anymore. He says, nobody wants those parts. I can't mark them up. Nobody will buy the OEM stuff. And I know a lot of you guys like to think that you can force the OEM. I can't force OEM on anybody. If I tell somebody I'm going to replace your carburetor and the cost for the carburetor is $100, $125, they're going to go tell me to go F myself. It's not going to happen. So if I can't just quickly fix it and clean it, then I have to go buy another one. I've had a lot of people that watch my stuff and said, Arch, why are you fooling around doing carb rebuild videos? And what are you fooling? Just go get another one from Amazon. And we do try to tell them that, look, it's not a guarantee. Some of these Amazon carbs aren't all that good. But here's the reality. We're at that point, that inflection point where the people that are going to pay you or pay me, if you're doing this for money or even on the side, they don't care what you say. They see what they see. They're being exposed to the green wave. Everything is going battery. And as this continues to roll out, the small engine mechanics and their shops are just losing business after business after business. And I said this before. How many times do you think you're going to sharpen a blade or replace an auger belt? You're losing the meat and potatoes. And they just want to buy electric. They don't even want to fix it. I haven't even done a snowblower repair this year. and I couldn't even sell for $250 that beautiful snowblower. Nobody has the money. The economy turned to shit on top of everything else, and there's no more money. So this long and the short of the story is this man, he's selling everything. He's done. And the son doesn't want any part of it because there's no future in it for the son. It would just be hanging on to some legacy thing that there's no future in. Unless, of course, you want maybe, and they even live in a more rural area where there's more of that rural work. Here, where I am, was more rural and more oriented when I moved out here 25 years ago. Where I came from, one county over, there were plenty of lawnmower repair shops. But, like I said, Long Island became so expensive that my parents, or when my father died, right, I was taking care of my mother. Me, like many others, took our garages and turned them into rental units. I lived in it for a while with my ex-wife. Sold it to my sister. Everybody in the neighborhood had garages when I was living there. And even when I first started working on cars and stuff and building my hot rods. By the time I left, and now there's no parking. Nobody has garages. They pay lawn services, or the lawns are so small that they have an electric lawnmower. They don't bother with gas. There's really none of that, right? They don't work on their cars out in the street or in the garage or in their driveway. There's none of that. There's none of that. It's like the city. It's like Queens. There's a few. I remember up the block, my one neighbor, he had almost like a double car garage, and he had big snow blowers when I was a kid, and he had all kinds of stuff. Gone. Bye-bye. So with nobody buying it, nobody looking to fix it, and that's happening out here. And it's not just happening out here. The other thing is out here, like across the street, the two houses, it's Section 8, and it's Latino Haven. And it's not to beat anybody up, but some of those people are illegal. I showed you guys some footage last year of a shed burning down, right? Live in the freezing cold, because people were living in the shed. They've come here. In many cases, millions of them have come illegally. One of the places they come to is a town like this. They don't own the home. They keep offering me almost $600,000 for my house. My daughter can't buy that. Nobody. Who's going to buy it? You know who's going to buy it? BlackRock and places like that. And they're going to rent it out. And the renters, I actually sell some of these cheap machines either to the landlord or to the tenant, right? Just to leave on the property to occasionally cut the lawn, because there's no pride of ownership. They don't own anything. What did Klaus say, right? Klaus, he goes, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, right? Klaus from the World Economic Forum. So that's like the condition we're in. And this, I've said this before, I'm moving my channel slowly over to something else and starting other channels, because I don't even see, like with the contractors out here, it's like they have subdivided the properties and then they put another house on it, and then they're trying to convert it to rental. We've got rentals all in town. They went to high rises. They're all rentals. And then they turned the movie theater and all its property into some kind of rental. Nobody can afford to buy a home. And they're going to get rid of the garages. When I was looking to sell this place a few years ago, when I first got my divorce, I actually called up the real estate agent that helped me to buy this house more than 25 years ago or something like that. And he came out here and he looked at the shop and he said to me, John, he goes, what you're doing here? He goes, I sell homes all day long. I've been selling it for years. Nobody does what you're doing anymore. With the occasional, you'll get in certain areas, you'll get maybe a dude that works for, a dealership, automotive dealership, and they do side work, and they've put a lift in their garage or whatever. In fact, my daughter's actually having her car worked on right now by one of those guys. It's a bunch of towns over. It's it's not a bad area, but he happens to have a rental unit where the garage is separate like this, and he's got a shop in it, but he also works for the dealership, and he does the side work on his rental unit he owns. So this is really what's happening, and it's happening in most states. And of course, like I said, when you get a little bit more rural, things change a little bit, or in certain areas that still may be some holdouts. But with the economy turning to shit, and it's not going to get any better with Mr. T, because he's looking to put tariffs on to try to balance our budget, our deficit. And even if he doesn't fully do it, because a lot of it's a scare tactic, it's going to raise the cost of all of the goods, everything, which is going to put even more stress on people like me. I remember when he was in office the first time, and I first started after my divorce and everything, I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to stay here on Long Island because of my daughter. And the economy was way better. And I started doing the YouTube and doing all this stuff again on the side. I'm like, oh, there's money in them Mar Hills. Well, at the end of 4 years, when they elected the last nightmare that we just had, it all went downhill. Whether you like hearing that or not, it did. And I'm like, well, so much for my comeback, right? I never got to see the money that I was starting to get. It just started to go down and down and down and down and down and down. I hate to be the bearer of, bad news, but this is the state. And of course, small equipment is the low man on the totem pole. So if you're a mechanic, small equipment is the lowest you can get, right? Like small equipment, you're a low man on the totem pole. Buying and selling lawn stuff, essentially, for consumers. If you're selling it to consumers, you're a low man on the totem pole. But these people up there in upper New York State, now it's more rural, there's not as much money, but you're talking about a variety of different kinds of equipment, and people tend to take care of their equipment up there, right? They do buy new, but they take care of it. They'll bring it to a mechanic, or they'll try to fix it themselves. There used to be parts sales up there, which he said parts sales was a good piece of the business. I used to go around the corner, like Ken has that shop. Those shops are going to be gone soon, and they're not coming back, and their sons and family members are not going to take them over because it's a losing proposition. Why would you Why, as a young man, would you want to get into a losing business? I wouldn't do it. So this guy's son didn't want to do it. And this fellow himself that is now, he's around my age, right? 60, 63, I think he said he was. He's getting close to that age where he wants to retire. That business is going to disappear. Now, if you happen to be last man standing, like if you're the last buggy whip maker, as Ford is revolutionizing the assembly line and they're pumping out millions of cars, and there goes all the horse and carriage work you used to do. Well, if you get hooked up with all the rich people and you make the buggies and the whips for the rich people so they can parade around in their horses, or maybe, we still run horses in the park in the city. But not now, right? And again, I'm not making fun of anybody here. It's certainly not making fun of the people from South. It's not just South Americans. It's the Chinese. It's the Indians, the Pakistanis, you name it. And they can't buy homes. I don't know who is buying a home. If you buy a new car and one of these homes, you're almost $1 million in debt, and your student loan. You're $1 million in debt. How are you going to pay that off? How's that going to happen? In what lifetime? I don't know. How does this work? Right? This is the collapse of an economy, right? And all of the jobs, I listen to the business reports. It's bad. Let me catch up with you guys, and I want to get to the next thing. I want to get off of this subject because it's depressing. That's why I started early, so we can get to some more of the fun stuff. Let me detach. Hold on. Let me detach the chat box. And I want to see what you guys are saying too. Let's detach it. Let's see. Pop out chat. Blow it up. Come over here to split screen. And I did move the camera. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit better. I still need to move it a little bit more. So what does it got to do? Is it got to come that way more? Yeah, I think it has to come this way more. Hold on. I want to fix it. I want to make it right. Let's try that. So it's kind of sad, Of course, and last week's my diatribe was I had that blowout on Husqvarna because they put so many people out of jobs. So I'm like, take those damn saws and throw them in the street. as hard as far as you can, and then drive over them with your tractor or your truck or your car. You know, ugh. I hate this industry. I hate what it's become. Hold on, let me catch up. Let's see if you guys are saying anything. Oh, wait. Let's see. Yeah. Is this guy in Pennsylvania? No, the guy I'm talking about is upstate New York. Upstate. That chair is better than the ones we had at Walmart. I put an Oregon fuel filter on the Craftsman YS 4500 mower. It's a 30 micron filter. That's a nice filter. That'll catch everything. Did you put it the right way? I think I saw Jason putting the filter on that. He was working on doing like a live, and he was working on one of those, I don't know, some kind of charger thing, right? Generator thing. And he's putting the fuel filter on it. Ken says, I'm lurking in the background. You must play I Am Klaus. Yes, yeah. I can't send that to you, Ken, because, I tried going on Ken's show today with this stupid thing. I told you guys, right? It doesn't work. This is, you guys know, this is the iPhone 6S. What is that, 6-7 generations behind, right? It didn't work. You couldn't hear me. Then it blacked out. Then I kicked myself, and then I came back, and then it was doing weird shit and rotating me, and it was freaking out. It can't do it. It can't. The microphone sucks. It's too old. The processor can't handle it. It's old. It's good for texting and for getting phone calls. You can't surf on it. But that's really all I do, right? Because I don't have the money for a new phone. You know how expensive these things are. And I don't even know which one I would want, because I like both. I like the Samsung stuff. I do like the iPhones, but the old iPhones were crap. They're not like the new iPhones. The old iPhones were kind of crappy. The Samsungs are pretty good too, but I think the Samsungs, because I got this one, and I got another one here in the drawer. By the way, I fixed this drawer. I made myself a nice drawer over here to start putting gear and camera stuff in. And I can probably use this phone because it's a little bit better than this one. It's got a dual core processor and a little bit more RAM. It doesn't have as much storage, but that's because I didn't put any in. But I don't know how, if Ken sends me a link to go on Restream and it comes to say this phone, how would I send that link via my network to this phone? Because this phone has no SIM card or anything, but it is, both of these phones are on my wireless network. So I haven't really thought about it, because it's only been recently that I got my wireless network and my wired network all upgraded and everything. So I was thinking about that. Well, I don't really know. I'd have to think about that. I mean, how would I do that? Because this probably would work for Restream. Or even that one. It would probably work fine. I've actually done some shorts with these two phones. YouTube shorts. And they work and sound much better than the iPhone. Samsung. So, John says, when someone brings in a still or another two-stroke with an aftermarket, I always ask if they have the original, especially if it's the commercial customer. And, that's one of the things I do say to people. They ask me, why don't you just go buy a carburetor? Well, depending upon the carburetor, original equipment is better. But then now we're starting to get into the issues, right? And I can't completely disagree with this guy. Plus, it's his experience. It's not always my experience. But a lot of times, with two-strokes, although I'm trying to stay away from two-strokes, but a lot of the two-strokes, I haven't had good experience with aftermarket carburetors on two-strokes. Personally, I like, if it's got a good, Zama or something like that, I don't really have to do too much to them. If it's rotted out, well, then I have to throw it out. But I usually just put, I just clean it, and I make sure the screen is cleaned, and I put a new diaphragm on it. And usually it works fine. Although I stay away from two-strokes because there's no money in them here, and I don't do saws because the still guy is right up the block. I'm not going to see any of that work. And I'm not going to work on these new Paulins and Husqvarnas and stuff. They're crap. Somebody mentioned something about, who was it? Someone mentioned about the Wild thing. Remember, I was laughing about that, too, at the end of last week's show. I was going on about that. It's crap. Throw it out. Although you can modify it. It's if you want to modify a saw and like port it and everything, go get one of those Wild things. They're cheap. People give them to you. And you can hot rod the hell out of it. They actually respond pretty well to that. Go have some fun. Practice on that. And then when the screws strip out, you can stick tie wraps and bread ties in there and tighten everything back up again on your hot rodded saw. Other than that, I hate to say it, but like still, I don't really think of anything else anymore. Like as far as anything new, whatever, I mean, the old school, if you want to talk about old Poland and some of the older stuff, I have some of that. I want to fix some of it. I have some of those saws. I have a couple of them. Actually, I did an old Mac. Oh, God, they're such a nightmare. But it's like a thing, though. It's like a cult following. And I got to tell you, it's a good machine. It's just like opening up the engine bay of the space shuttle, right? It's not practical to fix because it's hard to take everything apart and put everything back together again. They weren't kind to us. But it's not a bad machine. I have one. I got a bunch of Macs. I got that nice Mac hedge trimmer, too. That does pretty well on my channel. I used it this year. In fact, I forgot to put it away properly, so it's actually sitting in my shed, and I really need to finish putting it away probably. I kept saying, put it away probably. I'm like, nah, I didn't have. Kenny goes, I want one of those green hoodies. Yeah, XXL. No, I don't have any in XXL. He goes, where do I send the money? You'd have to send it to TJM here on this channel, right? Because he does that. That's what he does. That's his thing. I don't know anything about it. Let me catch up. Sleazy Joe and his goons really fucked things up royal. Yeah. Yeah, Trump does have a massive mess to clean up. And see, John goes, hey, Boneyard. Boneyard goes, hey, Arch and all. Yep. So, yeah, it is a mess. And not all of the picks that Mr. T picked, I don't like all of them. They're not. A lot of these people are still effing globalists. You're not going to be able to get rid of them so fast. Right? They're very embedded in everything. We can get them to do some of the stuff we need them to do. And you can't replace everybody with every pick you want because politics doesn't work like that. Like, you got to bend over a little bit. Like, they'll give you the cake, but you got to take a little bit up the chute, the back end a little bit for the cake. They'll use Vaseline, but, politics is such a bad game. It's so hard. Things all really messed up. All right? And all of the Western countries, they did this to Germany, to Austria, to France. They just have destroyed Western culture. And shame on you for being white male and toxic. Shame on you. Shame on you. I can't. Anyway, Boneyard goes, Boneyard says, I'm doing pretty good on Eastern Long Island. Right, so Eastern Long Island, so Boneyard is even more further out in the more rural area. And that's like I was saying, is that where I came from, there's nothing there. It's dead. And I moved out here, and for a while it was good. Now it's becoming, and we've said this for years, it's starting to become like Nassau, all right, which is, the county that I came from. This is Suffolk. But Suffolk is big. But when you go further out to the end of the island, it becomes a bit more rural. And if you have a bigger property, you because I do work on some lawn tractors and stuff. But when you say work on lawn tractors, like what? Like the John Deere Home Depot LT100, LT110, which is an absolute piece of crap, and the transmission dies on it, and there's nothing I can do, and nobody can afford to fix it, and it's not worth. So this is the conundrum: is that doing better than what? You're not going to make a living on it. Doing better with what? The garbage that's coming out of Home Depot and Lowe's that is really not repairable, that is so expensive to repair that the customer goes, I don't have that kind of money, and you're left with what? A junk tractor on your property that you can't even fix. What the hell am I going to do with a bum transmission on a John Deere LT100 or 110? What am I going to do with that? I'm not going to put another transmission in it. You've seen probably the episode where I think Tyrell takes one apart and fixes it. It's still a lot of work, and it's still money. And you have to really rebuild the whole damn thing, because there's no guarantee after you take it all apart and do all that work, you have to rebuild it. Geez, 4 years ago, they were $1,100. What are they now? For one that's done. What are they now? That's crazy. He goes, he says, there's like, oh, wait, I followed the hour of the fuel. Oh, good, you followed the hour of the fuel. Good. Robert says, John says, there's a guy Ken was talking about who is the same situation with his son and doesn't want total over the shop. Yeah, maybe it's the same guy. Maybe it's somebody up by him. I don't know. But I would imagine that this is playing out in many places around the country. But it's going to be spotty because we're going to see different markets. And, I've heard for years, even when times were better, some of you fellows would, text in to Ken or to me or whatever and say things like, geez, I can't believe you guys get that much for a lawnmower service or to sell a lawnmower. There is no market here for that. There's none. And, they're not in cold weather climates. They're in places where there are lawns. And there's like some areas there was never really a market. It's really market dependent, but it's getting worse. And I don't know. John says, use your text through Wi-Fi. I do, but I don't know how to link. John, I don't know how do I have this phone transfer a text to this phone? Right? Because if Ken sends it to me through the text from my phone number, from his phone number to my phone number to here, this doesn't have a phone number. It has no SIM card. It's on Wi-Fi, but what program would I use that I can plug them in and try to figure out a way to transfer it through the computer, but that's silly. How do I easily send stuff from here to here through my Wi-Fi local area network? That's the question. So let me know. You guys might know. Let's see. Tom, is Dobie here? What's up, Dobie? He goes, Orchie! A wild thing, make my heart sing. Yeah, wild thing. Yeah, that's like one of the first songs I learned how to play because it was like a couple of chords. Johnny Robert goes, top of the evening, gentlemen and ladies, if they're here. Well, some of us could pretend to be ladies if you'd like. John goes, hey, Tom. Hey, John. Mitch, hey, Mitch. He goes, go into sweatshirt business. Everyone wants your sweatshirt, right? Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, that business actually does well. And now they made it really easy because everything is like computer controlled and they're coming out with all kinds of you can do sweatshirts, you can do graphic stuff and signs and for stuff, signs for cars and trucks and all kinds of graphic stuff. And I've looked at some of that stuff. I'm like, wow, this stuff got nice. Really sweet. The technology's really helped that whole industry out. Especially if you can get good quality, fabric and build shirts built and everything. You know what else is doing good? A lot of the young fellas are coming up with in the clothing industry, like the craft style, old school shoes, boots, socks, wool blend stuff. I'm like, I really wish I had a little bit more money. I've been trying to keep an eye on some of these people because I like clothes like that. I like really good boots. I'm very particular with my feet, especially as a diabetic and somebody that's on my feet all the time. I like wool socks. They keep my feet, they breathe, and they don't stink like cotton socks do. They really don't. And now they even have, another thing too is the meat market, like the beef, like the really nice cattle, the free range, and the bison, and they're making clothing and gloves and stuff out of the bison pelts and all. I'm like, wow, I really need to start making some more money so I can get at some of this stuff. That's some fine goods. Treat yourself before we leave this planet. Get some good stuff. Enough with this crap textile shit that's coming from Malaysia. And I'm sick of that. And he goes, oh, gee, top of the evening, gentlemen. He goes, Tom over John, great for business. Sorry. Oh, my asshole has a sign above it. Exit only. So be it, Brett goes. He goes, Robert, he goes, John Deere can piss off. Yeah, they really blew it with a lot of us, didn't they? They've been really... That's the other thing, too. It's like the woke crap and all this crappy junk they're pushing on everybody. And stop. Where's all the good stuff? That's why I like all the old shit. I'm going to take a look at something in a minute. Hold on. Let me get through this. He goes, Boneyard goes, I work on a lot of, I work on a lot of workers' $30,000 machines. Nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's where the money and the diesel stuff and the big, stuff, earth mover, that's where it'll stay, I think. If you move in that direction or get into that direction or already in it, I think that's really where it is, right? But that's not the lower end. That's the mid to high end. That's different. Tom W goes, pow, pow, Brett. Pow, pow. Yeah, dilly. John Curry, there's a message through Wi-Fi app, but I forget what it's called. I will look for it, though, definitely. I'm glad you mentioned that to me. I just started thinking about this stuff because I just kind of got all of this working more recently, and then I got busy. She goes, don't forget P-Lady. I'm going to have to forget P-Lady because I didn't get a chance to work on the new P-Lady yet. Brett goes, Robert, he goes, do we know for sure P-Lady's indeed a lady? No, we don't know that. That is the question. Bravo says, there's not a man on the planet with legs like that. I would agree. Yeah, big diesel chippers tonight. Anything big diesel. Yeah, big diesel. Let's see what Big Mike says. Hold on, let's get this. I want to get to the next thing. He goes, Big Mike goes, start fixing e-bikes and mobility scooters. Let me tell you, there's probably something to that. And the fix, I will put the fix for this on my channel, but really it will be going on the AGT. It'll be going on the AGT channel because that's really what that channel is going to be for, moving forward in the future. And we'll see how it does. But instead of just putting it on Archer's Garage, because that's the only place I have, so I have to make you people suffer because you guys don't watch it anyway. But I'll be putting it on there. But here, hold on. Let's go. Let me entice you with the bluebird of happiness, or success, or sadness. Hold on. Let me find it. I gotta find it. Hold on. Let me cue it up. Let's see. Where is it? Yeah, I had to take it on my cell phone. Because all the other cameras, I was using the other cameras today for what I was working on. So they were already set up. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, let's get the audio going. The audio should work. Oh, look, the bluebird of happiness just crapped on my lawn. Yeah. The lawn comber. I'm on the little cell phone because every other cameras are all messed up. It's just a little messed up. He paid a couple $100 for this. That's it. I think he said like
insane,
120.
Right? So I'll go over it. These things, like running in nice shape, are over $1,000 still. All right, we'll get to this another day. It's freezing out here. Let me get in.
Yeah, it's cold. I just wanted to show you guys that, and then we'll get to a little bit of the Wright. Hold on, I'm coming back. Oh, God, that was such a cool thing. I can't believe he paid, like, next to nothing for it. That's just crazy, Let me come back to split screen chat. Now it's all just a click away. So isn't this cool? And that's just so nice. Little bluebird, little lawn rake thing. It just doesn't run, and it's got some issues, and it's nothing major, and it's in pretty good shape. But those damn things still, like I see them on like Marketplace, and they're like $1,000, and I'm like, what? That's crazy, But yeah, he scored on that. That's Mike, contractor Mike. Let's see, Big Mike says, he goes, I think I saw that on Marketplace. You might have, he says though that he got it from. I'm thinking he said he got it from, there's a contractor that he knows who's a big contractor, lawn maintenance and all that. He's a much bigger contractor. He's got guys and stuff. And I think he said that he's bought a number of machines. You guys haven't really seen the Encore yet. The red Encore. It's a walk behind. It's pretty decent, but it has a Briggs 17.5 on it, which is crap. It's still going. I'm going to come out with a video, 2 videos on it. One, I'm going to do the valves on it, just so it's another one of my, Briggs 17.5 horsepower, valve, adjusting valves. And then the other one is there's something wrong with the ACR, and this engine makes a weird noise. Where do you hear this? So I'm going to kind of do a video on testing for ACR operation. And the signs and pulling the rocker cover off, and what you're not seeing really is the ACR operation. You see what they call valve overlap, but that's not ACR operation, so you don't see it. And then I show pull on it, right? And yeah, what I do to start these things, and I showed him, is you pull it to the point of compression, give it a minute, and it'll the compression will leak down a little bit. And then you give it a yank. And usually, like, this is another one of those, like, no primer, choke only. So you got to pull it over once. And by the way, he didn't understand why you have to pull twice with choke. So I explained him that today. So you pull over once to get the fuel in. And then the second time, you load it up the same way. And then when it gets to that point, give it a minute and then carefully pull it. And the motor's in nice shape. When you see it, you'll agree it's in nice shape. But, and I brought this up with Ken, I'm like, it still runs. It runs fine. It doesn't blow smoke. You're a contractor. He's like, yeah, I'm still using it. It's one of the machines I use, especially when he gets busy. He doesn't always use it, but when he gets busy, it's another machine to give somebody. And once you get it running, you kind of leave it running and you go do your lawns and then you put it on the trailer. So I'm like, I wouldn't really touch it until what do? Do you put another motor on it? I mean, it's not going to be cheap to fix it. You got to take the motor apart, and those motors tend to blow gaskets because, well, I cleaned it, and I'm like, if you keep it clean, it won't. And you change the oil, it's unlikely it will overheat. But they tend to overheat, especially in the lawn tractors, because they get dirty, and they will warp. The head will warp or the block. And then they'll blow a gasket. And then if you really overheat it, they tend to drop exhaust valve seats. I said, if I'm going to go into the motor, I'm going to want to take the motor off the machine, take it apart, check it all out, put a new gasket on it, make sure everything is okay, clean everything out. Not necessarily have to put new rings on it or anything. I said, but I'm going to want to put a new head gasket on it and make sure that whatever broke off inside, because when you hear it, it didn't screw anything up. So I have to take it off and take it apart just to tell you all of that. I'm like, you got to pay me for that. Like, what do? You're going to put like another 17.5 Briggs Intech on it? I got a whole bunch of them back there. So that was one of the things I want to do. Is at some point, I think I want to make this sort of run-in stand for a bunch of different motors, because I have a whole bunch of these motors. Plus, I've got the V-twin. I also have the opposed. Those are my favorites. I want those. Those are mine. But I want to kind of run them all in, and I want to get rid of some of these tractors that are laying around and get rid of them and keep the parts, clean up, hopefully this year. And if I have one that I've gone through and it works well, either he can buy it or I can sell it. But the thing is, what do you ask for it? And I can't give you a warranty on it, because even if I buy a Briggs camshaft for it, well, the original Briggs camshafts, they go bad. If you buy a new Briggs camshaft, if you can get one and an actual Briggs camshaft, okay, that's money. If you buy an aftermarket, well, they go bad. So, like, I'm not warrantying it. All I can do is show you that I've done all this work, give you receipts, charge you X amount. You use it at your own risk. I'm not going to cover the nightmare of the Briggs Intech 17.5 single slug horror any more than I'll cover the MTD Cub Cadet single slug bucket motor horror. Like, I'm not covering that. I'll fix it. Not covering it, Let's see. Unless it's a swimmer. Some pro swimmers do indeed shave their legs. Yeah. We used to try to do that. I knew guys that did. I also knew guys back in the day that were working out all the time, and they used to shave everything. Well, I don't know, but that's what they did. Brick goes, yeah, the Briggs Power Dethatcher. That's a nice dethatcher. It's nice. It's got a good motor on it. Well, hopefully they didn't wreck it. We won't know until we get into it. That's coming up soon. John Curry goes, I have to run, but we'll try to be back. Great talking with you all. See you later, John. Let's take a look at the right. What time is it? Let's see, where am I? Let's take a quick look at the right. Yeah, we're doing good. We're a little over an hour. I want to go to about an hour and a half. Let me run a segment on the right. Let's get right with the Wright. This thing's nice. I got to find the segment, too. Let's see, which one do I want to show you? Such a nice machine. I wish everything was like this. Let's see what else we got. Well, yeah, I got to play with my plow a little bit on the Sunstar. Not much, because it didn't really snow all that much, but it was something. You know. It was better than nothing. I was hoping for more snow. We'll see. We still got February. It has been really cold, and thank God I finished doing the back door and tightening it all up and everything. Yeah, let's just kind of cruise through this. This fold. It's all raw, fellas, so it's going to be a little shaky or weird or whatever, but, you know, that's how first look is. Let's see. Do the pictures real quick, too. Came out really nice. So I gave him the rundown on it all. This is all like 1/4-inch steel, 3/16. Yeah, that's nice. Runs so sweet. Now let me find... Let's see. Oh, here's the controls. Now I want to skip over one of these. Like some of these are like the sweeps that I do. Yeah, let me make sure I'm make sure it's coming through. Yeah, it looks like it's coming through. Yeah, that's us right there. Somebody defeated, some of the safeties, which is okay. I didn't do it, but somebody did. No, I'm not gonna fuss with that. Nice big Cowie motor. Yeah, that's nice. Let's see, where are we? And let's see. Is it this one, maybe?
All right, delete the first one. This is take 2.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, fellas. I just got some fuel in it, and it took like 3 of those containers that I usually use, those mason jars, and it's still not a lot. That tank is huge. I'm not seeing a lot in the fuel filter yet. Let's prime it with I have some 2-stroke here. Let's just give it a little bit of prime with that. Try to bottle feed it until it starts sucking, make sure that's doing good. And I've got it jacked up in the back, you'll see it. It's in neutral right now, but we want to run the belts in. I'm not going to be driving it around here, so we're going to let the wheels spin. Anyway, let's fool around for a bit, you'll see.
Yeah, here we go.
Needs a little bit more.
There we go.
The other side is clutching. Looking good. Let's bring it up a gear. Yeah, that's nice. A little bit of grease I got to towel about. Yeah, let me get that. Let's spool it up. they're not really seating in the way I thought, which in a way is good because they're sitting nice and they look real good. So there's no wear or cutting or anything. I would have thought they would have seated in a little bit more initially.
No, they're fine.
It's not enough, which is good, and I'll show you why. See how they look? They look real good. I do hear some noises in here. He might need to do bearings or something.
They're
that
sealed.
wasn't part of it. So everything is lubricated, but what I'm seeing here is one of the things I know he doesn't like, is these are the locks, right? So I need to adjust it a little bit more. It's thumb actuated, but it's not quite engaging. So we're gonna make an adjustment, one more adjustment, spin this out one more time. He was wiring them up out of the way, but I wanna make sure they can engage that lock. So I'll just take this off, spin this out, one turn, bring it back in. It'll turn down there, and that'll be done. And then the other thing too is now I had tightened up his levers here. So that's all working good. This is all nice and tight. They were slopping all over the place. It's that additional play that screws you up when you go to make an adjustment, but there's also some additional play here, right? So we'll tighten those up. Let me get that done and I'll retest in a bit. And then I think it's done. All right, that's a little bit better. And this I think is your kills. I don't know what this is. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure. I think this is like an emergency kill. It used to be an emergency kill, but it's not working.
Like a dead
So that's
man's
something I
switch.
talked with him about. You have to hit this button here, the safety button. But I think this was like you had to hold it to keep that guy running. My guess. Anyway.
Yeah, it's an
tighten it up a
electric
little bit.
switch. It's an electric
And
clutch
so now it's in lock.
on the blade.
And let's see. There we go. All right, so now we bring it up. It will lock in neutral. All right, got to squeeze it kind of hard, but I think he likes that, and they don't fall down. He was flopping on them. All you got to do is tighten up on the friction nuts a little bit, and it would be fine. So this one, and again, the belts will wear in, so we'll pull this one up. You got to give it a good squeeze, and like I said, it'll wear in. Now these are strong fellas, so look, it's not for a homeowner.
Right.
Right, this is for the man. The man. All right, let's start it back up.
Yeah, it's for the man.
All right, I'm probably going to leave it on that jack for him when he gets here, whenever that is, because it's not going anywhere, and I'm not going to move it around front or whatever. There's no room in the shop for it, so I might cover it when it cools down. I don't think we have any rain or snow coming just yet. Let's just give it a last start and see. Ignition on. About midway, it shouldn't need any choke, but it is cold out here. Let's see. There we go. Nice. One's good.
So nice. All right, I'm coming back. Yeah, it's just such a nice machine. Oh, there's Mike and I fooling with this stupid scooter thing. Hold on, I'm coming back. Let's see. Go back to me, and then we do split screen. Transition that. See, I'm getting quicker with this stuff. Take this off. Shut you off so there's no potential for that. Turn desktop audio off so there's no potential for feedback. And let's see, Briggs powered the Thatcher. Robert Mallow says that engine on the lawn comber looks like a 1993 Briggs and Stratton. Probably what it is, I would say. My favorite stuff is all like 20 to 30 years old. That's like my shtick. Right? That's where I'm happy. I like the product I'm working on. I like fixing it. The Wright, or everything is basically available for it. Big Mike says he hates his. He's got the big with the silky on the back and everything. He doesn't have the Wright. He has the on the tip of my tongue. You know, the other one that looks like that. Anyway, he doesn't like it. You know, because it's bouncy on his lawn and everything, and it's a horror. He's got a lot of lawn to cut. But they're nice machines though. They're really nice. He goes the Skag, yeah, the Skag. The Scab. right? Those are nice. It's just a bear. It's a real bear, but it's a working man's thing. That's what it is. It's reliable. And he likes that like I said to him, like I try to bring everything up to a certain point. That way you're not having all these things go wrong with it, because he's like, you're lucky to even be a half hour ahead when you're cranking making money. You're never really ahead. You never ahead of the curve. I said, yeah, and everything breaks when you're really under the gun, you're running out of time, it rained and you didn't get to work, or it's about to rain and you got to get finished, or you finally have the guy showed up and you want to get as much work out of him, or whatever. It's always a horror. He's like, yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky even if you're even a half hour of extra time ahead of the game. He's like, you're almost always working behind. Yep. And then something breaks. And I don't want to see like him with these machines where it needs something else. It needs more work. He's brought me work from people that have these businesses here on the island where they fix and sell this stuff. And he's had to bring them to me, and I've had to go over everything because everything that they did was no good. And it's like you pay twice. Now, this one place he gets stuff from sells it cheap enough to where it's still, if I give him a good price, it's still affordable. I'm like, I hope that guy keeps working because I keep getting his work. Nice. You know? Oh, man. Brett goes, years ago I had an old Ryan Renault thin dethatcher. I remember those with a 494. I love the Clintons. Could kick myself for tossing it. Would have been a good YouTube material. Oh, yeah. Even if it's not really popular, like maybe it would have been good. The problem is that people that like kind of have an interest in this stuff, a lot of them don't know. Everything is like Briggs and John Deere, and like they don't really know Clinton. You maybe for a certain aspect of people that are into this stuff, people like me and some of us would be like, yeah, I got to watch that. It's a Clinton. Yeah, for sure. I would watch it. For sure. I put a Clinton motor when I was still in high school, right? Junior high. One of the kids in the neighborhood, he had a little bit of money. So he bought his father bought him a brand new Black Beauty mini bike. It's a bigger frame with a banana seat and a sissy bar in the back and sort of a little bit of the ape hanger with, I don't remember what size Briggs motor on it had, with a Mercury clutch. And he was constantly tearing up the neighborhood. And Valentine, his name was, and he was a bit of a dick. And some of us kind of liked him, we didn't kind of like him. So I'm like, I'm going to get this guy. So I met a dude way far from my house, right? For me, but he went to my junior high school. And he had a Stanton chassis. And it was a small chassis. It was a smaller chassis. And it kind of ran. It had a cheesy Briggs at the Cummy motor. I don't remember. Kind of ran. It was constantly throwing chains. And I tried to drive it home because it was like 4 miles from my house. And I got it most of the way and I had to walk it the rest of the way. I put a Clinton motor on it. And I machined down the head. I took a chrome downspout. It was like a 2-inch downspout fixture from like Drain. Some of them are like chrome. You can get the chrome ones. And I modified that and put that on the muffler and turned it out. And I did some mods to the carb and a few other things. And I put that Clinton motor on it with another clutch. And I beat the snot out of him in the long run. And that shut him down, right? That was it. I was the guy then. And I was like the only guy that in my neighborhood, because I remember the, what the hell were the older Briggs carburetors? Henry knows, the ones I've worked on them. I just can't think of the name, like the Pulsa Jet or Pulse Jet. I remember these guys driving this thing around. They could never fix the throttle cable. They didn't know how to make a throttle cable. So they were always like one hand on the handlebar and one hand down here trying to throttle it, right? And they never had an air cleaner on it. I made a scoop air cleaner. It came out to the side and would scoop in a little bit of air. So I was the guy that could fix throttle cables, right? There was a shop not too far from me, too, that specialized in some of that. They fixed lawnmowers and stuff, but he had a front showcase with all kinds of stuff for mini bikes and go-karts. And I tried to get a job there, but he wouldn't hire me. He wouldn't hire me. I was just too young. Probably goes one of my friends sent me a video of her daughter and son-in-law snow skiing on the freaking beach. He goes like, we didn't get any snow here. Yes, a lot of you guys did. The cold is coming back. Although I don't see any snow yet in my forecast. Like, it's just continuously cold. It's like it's 28 degrees. A couple of nights ago it was like 11 or 10 degrees while I was out here. It's killing me. This cold is killing me. He goes, oh, Fun Seeker. Hey, Fun Seeker. He goes, hi, Arch. So, let's see. He goes, Robert goes, hello, Fun Seeker. He goes, hi, Robert. Brett goes, I modified it with a Tecumseh ignition system. It smoked like a freight train, but it ran good. Yeah, loud, right? Yeah, this thing was loud. This mini bike was loud. Oh, yeah. And then Bobby Knockenhauer, car 702, used to come for me all the time. Fortunately, liked my sister. And so he would pick me up and bring me home and knock on the door. I guess just like any opportunity to tell, like, is your sister home? I brought your brother back. You know, that kind of thing. Oh, God, yeah. Sometimes we go into the woods and go in there. But this was a street bike, though. It really wasn't for... I made it to beat this one dude. I kept it for a little while and I sold it. I think I bought a go-kart after that, but I didn't really like it. It was more of an off-road go-kart. It was fun, like riding it in the farm and everything. It wasn't safe on the street. It wasn't as fast on the street. It was good for, like, you know, open grass and dirt. But it was only one wheel peel. You know, it wasn't anything special, but it was brand new. I had to come all the way out here to buy it, too, because that was when I lived in Nassau back in the day. And, yeah, we had to come all the way out here. And that was when that stuff was still going on out here, you know, before everything went to crap. I wouldn't want to be young now, right? This sucks, you know, for people like me. Like, I need to move down south or something or way upstate because I'm too redneck for where I am. I'm definitely too redneck for it, you know. And so, it was a lot of fun, though. It was fun playing with that stuff. I mean, I started fixing all this stuff when I was, like, really, really young. I was really young. It was grade school when I first started with a lot of it. But anyway, I went to the doctor the other day, my neurologist, and I like the young lady because she does all these tests on me regularly to check to see, you know, if there is any progress or if there's, you know, usually people get worse. And thank God everything is working good. Like I was able to do all the neurological tests. It used to be, you know, when you check your reflexes on your knees and they hit your knees with a hammer. Well, for years, my left knee didn't respond. Like it was, you know, that was that kind of nerve damage. But yeah, it goes off now. Everything works good. And my blood pressure's about right. And my cholesterol and all that is about right. I don't take any medication for any of that. The only thing that I do wrong is I still drink too much coffee and I smoke. And but I don't smoke the garbage cigarettes and I drink good coffee. So I don't know. You know, we can't get everything right, fellas. You know, we're victims of our own issues, you know. But what I need to do now is build up more of my strength, which is kind of hard, but I got to keep working on that. But I said to her, I said, what I've been really more worried about and concerned with is it's the winter time and a lot of people were getting sick and everything. So I do, you know, like a lot of the vitamins and I've changed my diet and I, you know, knock on wood. You know, I generally don't get sick. I just get stuff that tries to kill me, you know. I mean, I don't suffer from colds or really allergies. I've got rid of all of that, even the asthma and all. I just got rid of all of that. And I don't get the flu or things like that. So, again, knock on wood, but I keep trying. And I've been trying to rest more. And that's always a good thing. And the next thing I want to try to do is, and this is, you know, inspiration for anybody, I've been looking at a lot of research on diabetes with regard to EMF. That's the phone, and I got a router right over there and the blue light from the monitors and from this. And what I did find out now, of course, I like my technology, so I can limit my time. I'm outside a lot, but the one thing I'm missing, and, you know, I try to get sun on my body whenever possible. I don't use eyeglasses other than to see occasionally, you know. But outside, I don't need glasses. I don't put sunglasses on, which is good. And I've seen quite a number of studies on your circadian rhythm in relationship to getting the morning sun because it's a very different wavelength than the middle of the day or the end of the day. And I do take some stuff, like sometimes I'll take calcium, magnesium, and zinc at night, which can make you sleepy and it can quiet your nervous system down and helps regenerate it. But most of your like serotonin and that other thing too that makes you sleepy. Why I can't think of it right now. I don't know. I take it's that thing that makes you fall asleep. It's made in the morning, under sunlight in the morning, when the sun comes up. I take it at night and it does help. But a lot of people say they get nightmares or very vivid dreams. I get them anyway. Yeah, melatonin. Thanks, Brett. And I've also seen a lot of studies and stuff on taking melatonin at night. It's not a good thing. But the studies I've been looking at refer to when we get morning sunlight, which again is a different wavelength, on our face and in our eyes, there are receptors that generate the melatonin in the morning. And then it gets stored and then it's released when you go to sleep. So this is the circadian rhythm. Well, I can totally tell you, fellas, there are times when I have absolutely screwed up my circadian rhythm and you pay for it. I definitely have paid for it. And right now, like in the wintertime, I screw it up big time. And then when I was into playing rock music and, you know, you get home from work, you take a nap, you go to band rehearsal, and then maybe you go to playing some bar and you get home late and then you got to get up for work. And like, that's not a good lifestyle. I shit you not, it will wreck you. And I got away from all of that. But I think the next step for me is a little bit more of the strength training and trying to figure out how to pull myself away from wanting to hang out, you know, till 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, doing my thing and getting that second buzz. I need to go to bed earlier and get up and do stuff outside or sit out in a chair for a little while or walk the dog. I don't know, something. I need to think about that and get away from taking melatonin at night and see if it works. I can tell you that years ago when I was on more of a health kick, something was going on with that. I definitely felt better. I was getting healthier. I didn't read anything about it back in those days, but now there's a lot more information out about it. Ken says, let's see, Ken, because I know, Ken, wait. He goes, I'm still not right, and I've been off third shift for 13 years. 2 to 3 hours sleep at night sucks. Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people that I didn't really shift work ever. But you know, when I worked at like Grumman and stuff, I knew all the people that shift work. And I've met a lot of people that say the same thing. And that also a friend of mine, it was, you know, a cop, he retired a while back, but even when you get older as a cop, at some point, you know, you still wind up doing shift work or you pull parade duty or whatever, you know, watch. They say something very similar. They're like, it messes you up big time. And then you can't get out of it. So there's something to this. I'm going to be looking into it. I think that's like another missing piece. And there's some kind of correlation, even to the Fitbits, there's a correlation to this magnetic, it's a magnetic resonance that's not natural. You know, the blue light, the Fitbit, the router right over there, the microphone, all of these monitors, right? All of this stuff is related to diabetes. To what level? I don't know. Personally, I think my diabetes came from all of the pain meds and the muscle relaxers and the nerve blockers because I was crippled and I was in agony. And I said to my neurologist, I said, I think that all those medications is really what triggered my diabetes, probably more than it. I'm sure this stuff didn't help because I was always into this shit. Sure, it didn't help. And the stress I was going through with my daughter being sick and my ex-wife freaking out and, you know, and then I lost my job, right? I'm sure that didn't help, but it's not the kind of diabetes that you would normally see in the population. It's what they call brittle diabetes. And I said that to him and I said, I'm not blaming anybody because from my point of view, my life was so horrible. Like, how do you survive in agony and you can't walk and you can't, I mean, you got me to stay on my job for another, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. you got me through to a certain point. I'm now here. I've backed off almost all of that shit, including diazepam, and which we know is dangerous and deadly, right? What else was it we were supposed to do? Like, this is what they do when you're really bad. It's either that or people off themselves because it's that bad. So here I am. So again, I'm not blaming him. I'm not, it's just, he's not going to admit it. He didn't say anything. I mean, he's a neurologist. But he looked at me and he gave me that face. Now, I don't know of any medical correlations. By the way, they don't do any medical correlations. I had asked my surgeon when this first happened, I asked him, I said, is there any correlation with genetics and, neck vertebrae, back damage, that kind of thing, deterioration? And he said, we don't know. I said, why don't you know? He says, because there's no money. No one ever bothered to pay for a study and do a study. Mic drop. They don't know. They don't know because there's no money in it. There's no money to find out. You're on your own, really, largely, for your own health. I've said this many times. Like, they'll save your life, but they can't make you healthy. They don't know how. And I don't know. I was watching some stuff today about some of these picks for, health and human services and everything in the Trump administration. And they're not the people that Kennedy wanted. And they're still deep state, globalist, all for big pharma. Now they want to do mRNA, anti-cancer, vaccines. And that stuff is dangerous. I don't want to talk about it too much here, but it's not good. And of course, they're not going to talk about what Kennedy has been talking about, which is all this other stuff that is causing it, and then the natural treatments that we can use. Oh, we don't want to talk about that because no money in that, right? No money in that. Don't talk about it. So I think we're just going to be back to the same circle jerk that we've been in all this time. We're on our own. Let them do what they're going to do, right? They're going to spend our money, okay? Because where did that money come from? Us. So let them spend our money. What are we going to do? Maybe we'll get something out of it and we'll be thankful for it at the end of the day. Oh, DNR says hello to everybody. He goes, no more 7-hour live streams. Just kidding. Yeah, eventually we'll do like a 7-hour marathon live stream. Like, you kind of have to do that once in a while, I'm not saying don't have fun or don't shift work or stuff like that and make the coin. I'm saying, like, is this, we need to find the alternatives to things so that we can get right with ourselves and be healthy in our, all the years. Because I can tell you, like, I've said this many times, like, I don't do a lot of the things that I used to do. I can't do them anymore, and I won't do them even if I could. Because if I hurt myself one more time like that, like I went through for, 15 years, I can't go through that again. You can't. I want to enjoy, as I'm coming into my retirement years, I want to try to be healthy enough. I don't have to be mint. I'm not going to be 40 or 30 again. But I don't want to be completely crippled with arthritis. Like, I don't have all those problems right now. I'm trying to figure out, like, how to not have them. I wake up in the morning. I'm in a bit of pain still. I still take some pain meds. I have to be careful with the ibuprofen because it's a disaster. It'll wreck you. It'll kill you. It'll ruin your kidneys and your liver. But if you don't take it all the time, it's okay. So a lot of this stuff is like that. Like, if you're not too married to it all the time, you're going to have some aches and pains or whatever. All right. Man, I can handle it. That's how life is. I don't worry about that. It's like with my dog, right? Like, which I want to make sure he's going to be okay enough to where we can treat him from time to time. And they gave us, the lady was really nice. They were very good. And she, warned us about how often you can give the dog, if the blood tests come back okay, like how often you can give the dog medication or pain meds or whatever, and when to back off and what to look for. And that's the most important thing, because you don't know, because the dog can't tell you. We're trying to make his life, like me, trying to make my life more comfortable in my golden years. As I approach my waning golden years, now all I need, and we get you out of here on this, now all I need, as I often say, is a bottle of tequila. Actually, I like to say I don't know whether I need a bottle in front of me or a frontal lobotomy. A bottle of tequila and some Mexican midgets. to go along with it. Isn't that terrible that I said that? People yell at me and they're like, you so racist. I'm not being racist. What's wrong with a bunch of Mexican midgets hanging around, right? Or the Chinese ladies walking on my back, right? Well, that's racist, Dodge. It's not racist. Have you ever had Chinese women walking on your back? It's nice. It's nice. So you might want to try that. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Fellas. It's been like an hour and, I don't know, let's see. How long has it been? Let's see. Hold on. Let me click on this link. Oh, an hour and 39 minutes. We're good to go. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out with me over here at Archer's Garage. And Maida, we got to catch up. Let me know what's going on. I'll see you guys on the next one. How do I end it? Oh, here's the end stream button. There we go.